Ryan Dalton, dude, thanks for being on. I don't know if you heard my intro. I gave you a nice little intro. It was just off the cuff, so I apologize. I know I missed some stuff. What did I miss? Were you in digital marketing?
No, I knew nothing about this business model until January of last year. So January of last year is when I learned about it because I was looking for something online. I wanted to make some more money, right? Because I didn't like the feeling of working for someone forever and they have like total control over whether my family is going to eat, whether my lights stay on my house. I got 2 5-year-olds at home. Like someone else is making that decision. They're making a decision about whether my people eat. I was like, I'm not into that. Like, I don't want that. I want something that I have total control over. So I started researching. I was like, what is a good business model? What's the best business model that's scalable, that's repeatable, that's automatable, and I can take to, $1 million plus? And so I looked for like weeks and then I found Rank and Rent. I was like, this is it. It checks all the boxes. And I got started a year ago in January.
So sick, dude. I love that story. And what people may or may not know, because some of you guys have probably seen, I interviewed Ryan a couple months ago. And I think at that time, dude, were you not like in the 15,000 range? Where were you at when we interviewed last time?
We interviewed last time. I was 15 to 20. And so now I'm at 27. My best month was 30 at the end, like November. And then I had a little bit of churn in December. And now I'm at 27. And so I'm pretty stoked about where the year's starting compared to a year ago where I was at $0 and had no clue how any of it worked.
Well, and here's what I was going to say. For those that didn't catch Ryan's interview, was a couple months ago, it's not like you were flipping patties or like doing some dog shit job. And those aren't dog shit jobs. I'm saying dog shit pay. Yeah. Just briefly, like, I know you said this before, so I apologize, but just tell these guys like a little bit like what you actually do, because you have a pretty like good paying job. It's not like you just like are broke or were broke. You just wanted to have, you basically were like, dude, I can see the writing on the wall and I don't like not having control.
That's it, man. Yeah. So I'm a lawyer by trade. I wear a couple hats at where I work now. I'm a lawyer. I do program management and stuff for a defense company, and it's a pretty rad job. Like the actual work is pretty fun. I like to love the people I work with. It's meaningful work, but it really just came down to what you just said, man. It came down to, at the end of the day, I want something that's mine. No one can take it away from me, and it's for life. And I looked at this, and it's like, yeah, these digital assets. You build up a website that ranks to #1 in an area and it's suddenly worth $1,500, $2,000 for one site from the rest of my life. Sign me up.
Crazy. You're a very analytical person. So this is a question I didn't ask you last time. What holes, because I guys, I saw a couple of little comments in the free group, which we're in right now. And somebody was like, and I kind of gave them a little bit of guff. They were like, well, how is this a viable business model? And I was just giving them some jab. I'm like, how much you make? Just one of those. But I like the questions. I think it's a good question. I think you should ask questions. I don't think you should believe. What holes, Mr. Ryan Dalton, because I know how analytical you are, what holes did you think you were going to be able to poke in this business model when you started looking into it? Because I know you probably freaking flipped this thing over, inspected it, turned it around, opened it up, put it back together before you jumped.
Yeah, man. The first thing that I looked at was like, all right, how many people are doing this? Right? Is this drop shipping where like 1 billion people are doing it and they're getting these cheap products from China or whatever? Like, how cheap and durable is it? I looked at it and I came to the conclusion, it doesn't matter how many people are doing this because there's going to be new business owners all the time. There's going to be new niches all the time. There's tons of fertile ground right now, just as it is. So that was my first thing that I was concerned about. And I was like, I almost waved off on this because I was like, I think a lot of people are doing this. And then I realized it doesn't matter how many people are doing it because there's way more business owners and there's way more niches than there are even people doing Rank and Rent. So
that's great. So that wasn't the thing that came to my head. And I was just thinking as you were saying that, I would be interested if you are listening to this call right now. We got 40 people on this call. And by the way, thank you guys for being on. We really do appreciate you guys. We're going to make this valuable for you guys. We've prepared for this. This isn't just some last second thing. But for those that are on, and we're not going to beat you up in the comments and anything like that, but those that are on, if you are new to this and you're like, this is intriguing, but what about this? If there is something that you feel like is a doubt, or you're like, I'm not sure about this, the viability of this model because of X, I would love for you to put it in the comment, and we'd love to address it, because I hope that I didn't like scare people away from asking questions. I do like people ask questions. My thing, I guess, is when people aren't, it seems like it's the people that have never tried it that always have the opinion. Just like when I bought my G-Wagon, I listened to all these people. It sucks to drive there. You don't want one. And I'm like, hold up. I have never asked anyone that actually has one. And then I did. And I'm like, dude, I've had 9. You need to go get it immediately. I bought one like 3 days later. So that's all I was doing. But yeah, if you do have questions as we continue to go, we'll monitor the comments. If you guys have doubts, share them. We're not going to beat you up. I would love to address them. I think these would be really good. Like, we could even pull those little like questions out and use those to share, because everyone has the same questions. Basically the question, is it saturated, right? That's the question Ryan asked. Yeah. And then I think a lot of people, I want to address this really quick. And then Ryan, I know you had some things shared of like, what are some of the things you learned in scaling up that quick? But the thing for me was, and I know a lot of people have probably had this, so I'm going to preemptively overcome this objection, if you will. This is my sales skills here. Is my thought when I heard of this is, well, what happens if Google goes away, or Google does something and Google deranks your website, right? And this is what I would say is like, one of the things, you can do a couple of different things. Number one is you don't do black hat stuff. You don't do black hat SEO. You don't do shady stuff. You don't go get porn links from Indian porn websites and get them linked so you can rank to the top really quick. That is dangerous stuff. I would not recommend. So don't do any black hat stuff. But there's also different ways. Like if you have leads coming in from ads, if you have leads coming in from GMB and from organic, you have they have to knock you down in 3 different areas to have your leads dry up. So for me, now that I have leads coming in from all 3 of those different areas, I'm not worried if Google changes something, because I could immediately go, okay, my margins might not be as good, and I might have to lower the price, but I'm still going to be able to keep the client, and leads are still going to be coming in. So I know that's something that people have thought, but also, guys, if you're going to ask that, Google ain't going away. You could also wake up tomorrow and have a cockroach go in your throat, and you could die from the poisons and stuff like that. Like it's such a, like, it's a what if. So anyway, if there's anyone, did anyone ask anything or any questions or say any comments about that? Did you monitor that? If anyone does, if not, that's great.
Someone's asking, I'm just gonna look at the first one that comes over here. I've got on my other monitor, to my right. First one that comes to mind, or comes to my view, is concerned about the initial overhead and what it takes to actually sell the leads. Okay. So I think that's a legit question. Yeah, I think that's a legit question, right? Because you got to actually put in a little bit of money to be even in a place where you can sell something that's valuable to somebody else, right? So I looked at this and I looked at what I could do that's repeatable over time for the next year. Because I said when I got started, this is the only business model I'm going to do. I'm going to stick to this. I'm going to do it for 1 year, and I'm not going to look back, right? At the end of the year, I'll reassess if it doesn't work.
By the way, guys, I hope you guys are writing stuff down. He's not coming out and saying, here's one of the keys, but he just said one of the keys to his success right there is, I'm not going to go do 17 business models. He chose to do 1. Anyway, I'm just picking stuff up. Keep going.
Yeah. So I picked 1. And so that expanded my time horizon. So now I'm not looking at what I'm spending today on ads. I'm looking at what I can do over the course of a year. Right. And if I want to sell 1 site, I want to get my first site sold, and I'm willing to commit $20 a day. You know, less than $600 a month is probably what's going to shake out to on your Google ads, between $500 and $600. If that's my startup cost to get into this, and it can produce something that eventually is going to pay me $1,500 to $2,000 per month for life, right? Even if I lose the business owner, I get another one. That's a layup all day, right? So it is a little bit intimidating maybe to look and say, I got to spend $600 this month. But which is worse, spending $600 or being broke forever? Right? If you're always broke, if you're always wondering about if you're going to get that paycheck from your company and that's all your money, and you're not willing to put in some, what's the phrase? If you don't, you're not willing to,
yeah.
What?
Which one? If you always do what you've always done, you always get what you always got, or the one, the insanity quote?
The first one is the one I was thinking of, and then also scared money don't make money.
Yeah, dog. Let's go.
Right? If you're not going to put some money in, you got no skin in the game. And so all I have to say, you know, you put in $600 and you may not sell it your first month. That's the reality. You might not. And so it may be a second month, but then you put in, you know, $1,000 probably is what's going to shake out to. And you've sold something that for the rest of the year, you're going to make $1,000 a month on. So
Dude, but dude, guys, we gotta have some context here too. Like some of us are sitting here and we've got a business model in front of our faces that I've proven you can do up to $100,000 a month or more, right? That's the potential upside. And I know that there's higher levels past that. My highest month was like 129. Like some of us, the people that are like, yeah, but it costs money to get started. Dog. Of course you got to put something in. Like if it was $0 and you just poured money, that's called a freaking scam, right? Like, so I think we got to remember, what's your alternative? Go open a tanning salon, $250K. Go open a Jimmy John's, $500K. Go do a McDonald's, minimum net worth of $1 million or some crazy thing with some amount liquid. Go start a tanning spray business. You're going to spend $500 in gear and equipment. Go start a t-shirt. There's always going to be some startup costs to doing this. But the cool part is we recoup them so fast. It's like, I get pissed when I think about when people are complaining, oh, it costs money. No shit, dog. You're starting a business.
Yeah, man. But for this business model particularly, is what's interesting is it requires hard work and persistence, but it's low startup costs. I put in $800. So in last year's budget, I was reviewing my end of the year budget for across the whole year, and I went back and I looked at February's last year. I started running ads. $800 is what I spent between, I guess, the end of January and through February before I sold my first site. And every month since then, I've made money. That's the only month that I lost.
How much did you sell that one for?
My first one I sold for $1,000.
So you broke even basically on your, or even a little bit more on your first deal. You had sweat equity and you broke even, and next month you were profitable.
Yeah, that's right.
Unreal. Like, say less, dude. Like, that's it. We'll move on. Okay. Ryan Dalton. I'm brand new. My name's Nick to this business.
What's up, Nick? Welcome, man.
Yeah, thanks, bro. This looks like a really good business. You got
You're gonna do great. You're gonna do great. I've got big things in the future for you.
I appreciate it, bro. I want you to mentor me, Ryan Dalton.
Okay, well, what do you got, man?
Yeah. Hey, can I pick your brain, bro? Can I take you lunch? Can I pick your brain?
Yeah. Let's do coffee.
Yeah, let's do coffee. You can go suck a rock, dog. No, but for real, if somebody came to you and in a perfect world, you have unlimited time and you were going to mentor me, I knew nothing about this. Like, what are some of the things that I'm like, I want to be where you're at, dude. I have a 9-to-5 job. I got kids. I can't just quit my job. I'm not whatever. I've got obligations. Maybe I got kids. Maybe I got car payment. Maybe I got debt. I've got bills I got to pay. So I can't quit. How do I go and get to $27,000 a month within 12 months? I'm willing to put in the work, man. I'm going to do it. I want to do it. Help me, bro. Where do I start? Like, what are some of the tips you can give me?
Yeah. So you've already got the mindset, right? That's the first thing I would say is, right, your mindset is, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put in the work. I'm committed to it. I'm going to do whatever it takes. The second thing is put yourself in a community of people that are doing this, right? Because you're stronger when you're around people. Art of pre-selling, people are in here because they want to hustle, right? And the next thing is you got to dive into it and start with learning the fundamentals of the business model and understanding the fundamentals through the whole process, from like the idea of Rank and Rant, like I don't know anything about it, all the way through. I closed my sale, like just start to understand that. And once you understand that, you can fill in the pieces with action items, with things that you need to be doing, right? Like the first step is just understanding, hey, which market do I go into? Which niche do I go into? Like understanding the very basics of what is more likely to succeed, and then beginning there and taking it just one step at a time, right? Just a day at a time, one step at a time, and eventually you'll close a sale.
I think that's a good starting point. So, I'm just thinking, like, as somebody, and guys, again, if you're watching this and I'm literally, like, obviously we're just playing around. But if you are me and you're like, I'm brand new, guys, you have Ryan Dalton right here. This is what's interesting, dude. You did like your speed and acceleration in this business is so much more impressive than mine. Dude, it took me, like, mine was like this. I did have that, like that hockey stick, but dude, it was like 4 years of this, like, you know what I'm saying? And bro, you just like went boom right out the gate. So guys, you have somebody right here. It's a resource. We have 20 more minutes. You can ask Ryan questions, and we're going to keep going. But like, I'm just telling you, you have a resource right here that's done it. He did, like, in his first year, you beat the crap out of me, dude. Even when I went all in on it, you kicked the crap out of me, dude. You did it awesome. And I don't need you to tell me that I'm a good person and I'm okay. Like, I'm giving you a shout out, dude. You killed it.
You're doing your best.
Thanks, bro. I really needed it. Now I'll sleep. So anyway, I'm just letting everybody know, if you guys have questions for Ryan, especially those that are new to this business or not, take this time. You have somebody's time. This is like that, hey, can I pick your brain moment that you're never going to get. So use it wisely, and if we have questions come in here, we'll keep talking for about 15 more minutes and then do some questions. But what other tips, what other things did you learn going from zero? Like, I want to say, I was going to ask, did you think it was possible? I know you thought it was possible because you saw other people do it, but did you think you'd be at 27K within 12 months?
No, I didn't. I thought that I would do like, a sale every month or whatever. And then I got the power of that first sale. Right. And like,
dude, talk about that for a minute. That's so real.
Yeah. When you get that first sale, like, I've never done drugs, right?
Yeah, I love this. Yes.
I haven't done drugs, but the closest that I think that I've ever gotten is when I closed that first sale. And then that second hit of dopamine, when I saw Square has processed your first payment. I got that email and I was like, this is real now. This is real. And then I knew I'd done it once. I can do this over and over again. I've done it once. I can do it again. And so when you get to that spot, there's no going back, right? There's no going back.
It's a real thing. And for those of you that have been grinding away at this, chipping away at this, like, you just got to get to that first deal. Like, you got to, it's like you're digging and you're digging and you're digging and you're hot and you're thirsty. And then that water comes out, right? And you're like, there we go. There it is. And it literally, it's addicting, and you get it. And you see it, Ryan's face light up when I told him about it, because he remembered how good that felt. That first sale, you put the credit card in, you push like charge, and it's spinning, and then boom, it goes green. Dog.
Yeah, there's that moment of suspense when you put that credit card in and it's like thinking about it. Yeah. And then it processes it and you're like, oh, now I'm in business. Right. And it never gets old to me. Like, it's not quite the same as the first one. Like, that one was, that was wild. But every time I process that card, they give me that card on the phone and it goes through in Square, I'm like, this is the good life. It's
like you hacked the system, dude. It's like, I don't know. You've read this, haven't you, Ryan?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah, it's a classic. Like, you know how he talks about escaping the rat race, and he has a game that goes with this, which is a really fun game. It's called Cash Flow. But it's like you read about this whole concept of like, you have to separate your time from your money and make money while you sleep. And that's, that whole concept. And when you see that first stripe come through, especially when like your next payment gets charged, if you're weekly or whatever, and you're doing something random, maybe you're in the pool with your kids, you're golfing, you sleep, you wake up to it. It's like you're reminded, you're like, dude, I read that. I thought it was cool. But it seemed fake. I never thought it was like, I know everyone nowadays on the internet talks about escaping the matrix. Like, that's that common, like, whatever thing, but it's kind of like, it's what you're doing. You're like, okay, I finally figured out how to make money without getting paid for my time. And it's the coolest freaking thing, dude. Like, every time I think about it, I get excited, man.
Yeah, a path opens up in front of you. Like, it's suddenly like, you can't see it until it opens up. You make that first sale and you're like, okay, I'm going to go down this path as far as I can possibly go and see how long it takes to get to, whatever that next number is. And then you think, okay, I did it once, I can 10x this. And then you get to $10,000. And then you think, okay, I 10x'd it, I can 10x this again, right? And see how far you can go with it, because sky's the limit. I really think that, Rank and Rent's been around for a while, but I still think that we're early adopters. I still think we're on the front of this thing. And there's a lot more to get after out there.
Talk about, I'm just sitting here thinking, I was sharing something the other day. I think it was a post on Facebook. And I always hear people talk about, like, it's risky to start a business. It's risky to do your own thing, right? It's secure to go. And it's so it's like such the opposite in my head, like, to have a job. And I'm saying this for those of you that are sitting there going, yeah, but I don't want to take the jump because it's risky. Dude, you know what's risky? And this is why I admire you, Ryan. It's like, you are in a comfortable, probably way more than comfortable spot because you're in a beautiful home. Like you were already in a good spot financially before you even discovered this, but you were smart enough to go, as much as I like the people I work with, as much as I hope that this keeps going forever, I'm going to bet on me, and I'm going to have multiple streams of income, and I'm going to have something that I can control because I know what I'm capable of, and I'm not going to leave that into other people's hands. I'm saying that because this whole, like, I just texted one of my buddies, and we have this mutual friend, and we were talking about going to Mexico, and I'm like, hey, is so-and-so coming? And he's like, no, dude, money's tough right now. Yo, this guy was like balling 6 months ago. Right? Balling. I say it like this because I knew he wasn't, but like we thought he was. I'm like, holy shit, man. Things can change like that. Imagine if I had stayed and just, I can't imagine going to sleep at night knowing that I could get a call tomorrow and that could be it, dude. Just like you said, like you got kids, bro.
Bro, that keeps me up at night. I mean, or it did anymore, right? I just also never want to be in a position where, like, I guess 2 years ago I was at work and they were talking about, annual bonuses and merit increases and stuff like that, where like you get some percentage of, your salary and your annual increase or whatever. And it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, man, it's like pennies compared to this stuff. It's like, oh, I'm going to work my ass off all year long for like 3% or 5% versus closing one deal, right? And I'm already way more than whatever they were going to offer before. And like, no knock on that. Like, they're good people trying to like run a company as best as they can. Like, that's cool, right? But I'm not going to put my future in anyone else's hands in any way if I can help it. I think it's way riskier to not have a plan, right? Hope is not a plan. I mean, you got to be able to build something that would give you the assurance that if ever you did get that call, you're not in a weird spot. And that's what I love about this, because it's not going anywhere. Google's not going anywhere. Concrete, the number one
niche
material in all of construction, that's not going anywhere, right? Like all these services, these high ticket niches, those are here to stay. And so I'm just going to align myself with stuff that's here to stay and ride it to the top.
I just kind of made this connection. What's scary in business is having all of your money coming from one client, right? Because that client owns you. But when you have a 9 to 5, that's the exact same position. You are literally putting your entire future into somebody's hands, and their decision, whether you say something wrong at work, you have the wrong political view, company doesn't do well. Anyway, guys, I not everyone's cut out for this, but that's what I think is so cool, dude, is like, you do it because you love it, but you've been able to, like, I think we keep forgetting this, or I do, dude, you had a 9 to 5 all of last year, dude. It's insane. And I do know, like, you're kind of an alien when it comes to like productivity. You're like a mix between Tim Ferriss and Elon Musk, just freaking, and he doesn't do Adderall, friends. And I don't think he does these because he's smarter than me. But
I've got my caffeine. Hey, caffeine's my drug of choice, bro. I'm not
okay. It's good. It's good. Anyway, dude, I just think it's so cool for those that are out there like, oh, I got a 9 to 5. And
yeah, I mean, so I have the benefit of working remote. Okay, that's a huge advantage for me.
But I think that's pretty common. I don't think that's 5 years ago, that would be like, oh, I can't do it. Now I think that's pretty common. But yeah, go ahead.
But I've got friends that don't. And I've got friends that, work for, commercial real estate, whatever, they got to be in an office, and they still can do it. And I would still be able to do it if I worked in an office, right? Because you see that call come in, and if you can't answer it right away before you sold that site, you've transferred that over to that business owner, right? Sorry, I got to step out for a second. Call them back, transfer it. That's my first lead. You get that second lead, third lead, fifth lead, close them, right? You can step out of the office for long enough to close deals. And I've got friends that are doing it, right? I know people are doing it. I would be doing it if I wasn't working remotely until, I could, leave the office or whatever. It's totally doable.
And and again, I come back, you're not working a job that's like something, there's those jobs like, oh, I work at a gym, but I just read my books all day, whatever.
Yeah,
it's like,
that'd be nice.
You're an attorney, like you're doing like big boy stuff, like chasing bad guys around the world. Like it's like you have to get stuff done. But anyway, any last things? I want to go into Q&A and leave some time there, but like any last things of like eye-opening things that like piece of advice that you're like, I wish I'd known this. I mean, it is really, and I'm not trying to like stroke your ego or anything, but like, dude, 0 to 27K in a year, and not only did you not know about the business model a year ago, but you also had a 9 to 5 job and you have kids, and like, I know you work out, and like, it's impressive, bro. So I'm trying to like I'm trying to squeeze some stuff from you, dude. Anything you want to share with me or anyone listening?
I mean, I owe all my credit to Art of Pre-Selling and Digital Landlords. I've not been anywhere else. I'm not learning this from anywhere else. This is, I'm homegrown. I'm homegrown here, fully homegrown. I stumbled into this because I thought I should probably find a community of people that do this thing when I put it into Facebook, and this group popped up. That's so crazy. That's how I got. That's how I got here. And so I'm fully homegrown. Like, I didn't learn this anywhere else, or like Googling it. Like, it's here, and it's with people that are probably on this call, or will watch it later, or that are in this, for sure, that are in this group and in Digital Landlords. And that's the blueprint, man. Like, I would say, if you commit yourself to it, don't second guess the process. I've seen too many people DM me and Facebook Messenger or whatever, and like, hey, Nick does this, do you do this? Or Nick did this, do you do this? I was like, I trust the process because it works. I've done it over and over, and it's Nick's process, right? And it's hard won, right? I mean, you built this after a lot of mistakes were made, right? And I didn't want to make those same mistakes again. And so I thought, like, I'm going to follow this process exactly. And you know what? The times that I haven't, the times I thought I'm smarter than Nick, what does this guy know, right? I've skipped a step, and I'm like, I'm just gonna close this guy. I'm feeling this vibe right now. I'm just gonna close him on the phone. No dice. No dice. And I've regretted it every single time. And so all that to say that, like, I'm homegrown in Art of Pre-Selling, Digital Landlords. This is my community of people. This is my tribe. I want to see everyone in here succeed. I want to see everyone get in that bag. And I would say, don't skip steps. Trust the process because it works. If you follow it, it's going to make you money.
That's dope. That's like a mic drop. Now let's go into Q&A, bro. That's really good advice, man. And I think the thing is too, it's like you are humble enough, even though you're an intelligent guy, to go, you know, I might know a lot, but like in this area, he probably knows more than me. Let me just try this out. And I love how you said, like, you didn't have any other, you know, backup plans. Like, I'm just going to do this for a year. So anyway, guys, there's so many nuggets that have been shared here. Let me go ahead and pull this up really quick. Let's go into some Q&A. We got about 12 minutes and then we will be hopping off. So let me pull this up really quick. Ryan, I'll try and find them so you can just focus on answering them.
Cool, man. Let's do it.
Let's see. All right, here we go. Oh, son of a gun. Dude, I'm so tired of being freaking banned on Facebook, dude. Gosh dang it. Okay, I'm gonna
all those memes, dude. You can't keep posting those.
I know, bro. Zucks is like, you got to quit talking about money, dude. You're making people uncomfortable. They're like unfriending you.
He knows you're coming for him. He knows you're gonna
Zucks.
Zucks. Net worth than him.
Yeah, I know, he's an alien. Okay, we got a bunch of stuff here. Let's see what we can knock out. So we'll try and answer them quickly. Okay, Joseph had a really good question. He said, how to get started with making websites without knowing how to make websites?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I would say my answer depends on which part of the sales cycle that you're in. If you are in the pre-sale part of the sales cycle, you need to put up your one-pager, and your one-pager is simple, and it allows you to test the market to see if it's going to get you any kind of leads. Because if your one-pager is succeeding, you know that a full website with good on-page SEO, all that stuff, is going to succeed there as well. If it's not catching any traction, you're not going to make any have much success there. The second part of the sales cycle, after you sold it, you're going to build the website. I think, Nick, you talk about in one of your videos that you recommend building the first 3 to 5 websites yourself, so you know what right looks like. So that's what I did. So I struggled through WordPress until I figured it out, put a theme in, worked on some on-page SEO. My first one was like, it was okay, and they got better, and then I knew what right looked like, and then I outsourced it later on after I sold it. So there's various stages of how you should be building. The simplest thing, man, is start with a simple one-pager. Make it simple. Don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it super simple. Got a landing page, a big fat phone number at the top, run some ads to it, and you're off to the races.
Boom. And the only other thing I would say is, Joseph, focus right now, go get the deal, and then worry about that. Okay.
For sure.
Too many people, they go, I just need to learn how to build a website. I just need how to learn to get the leads. And the truth is, if you, again, this is like one of my favorite things to say, if you don't have a business owner that's paying you for these websites and they're producing leads, I don't care if it's 100 leads, 1,000 leads, that is a hobby, not a freaking business. So anyway, that's good advice.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I learned all this from Nick. So I'm just going to.
Oh, come on, bro. Come on. I know. Okay. Mark says, I sold 15 million this morning for breakfast. Does that qualify? If that's a troll comment, I think it's kind of funny. If it's not, then I would love to know what you sold. And if it's OnlyFans, I'm going to give you some shout out. But anyway, Mark, not sure how to take that comment, but it is kind of funny. And if you did, I really want to know what you sold for real.
Yeah, count me in. I'm signing up for that.
Hit me up, dog.
Yeah, I want to hang out with that guy.
I think he's trolling. I appreciate the troll. I'm just as much a troll. Okay, look how good it is. You already know how to make. Okay, Joseph said, did you already know how to make websites? You already answered that. No, you did not. Okay, Sterling says gross or net. This is gross, by the way, guys. And he's saying, what's your net? Tell him your net on 27. And keep in mind, you have pre-sold, if I'm not mistaken, every single one of these websites. So is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
So no matter what,
let me clarify.
Whatever number he says, it's going to be the lowest margin it's ever going to be. It's only going to get better. But what is your margin right now?
Correct. Let me just clarify what my margin is. My margin is calculated after all of my operations costs. So part of my operations costs include all of the ads for the 4 websites that I'm running right now, which is another like, $2,400 a month for just those 4 websites. Actually, I think I have 5 running, so it'll be something more than that, $2,700 a month. So mine's at 40%, but there's a lot of things in there that are included in that, like like all those ads. I've got stuff like my phone, my yard guide, like all that stuff is in there. If I pull all that out, I'm probably somewhere between 50 and 60.
What I love about Ryan is you can tell that he's giving you guys an honest answer. He's not like, oh, it's 67% because it sounds good. He's literally, I know on his screen right now, he's probably got, it's like 40.025. And he's like, oh, that's my internet thing is included. So I love that, first of all. And secondly, the cool part about it is it's 40%, which is actually a sexy number for any other business out there.
Yeah.
But that is the lowest it will ever be.
It goes up every month. Yeah.
Yep.
That percentage increases each month because I stopped paying for ads. And so
yeah, it's stupid, dude.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Let's see. Alan Tran, not familiar with GMB yet. Not familiar with GMB yet, but can I get a GMB address adjacent to the city? I have my website designated out. I'm about 60 miles away. That's going to be that. Well, I'm going to go into questions. I'm going to try and get like quick ones we can go through. We got 6 minutes left.
Cool.
Alan, that's a really good question. I would pose that in the group and let everyone weigh in, just because if that's going to take up the rest of our time. I'm trying to knock out a bunch. Ask that question in the group and we'll answer it there. I'm sure me and Ryan can jump on it. Okay. Let's do quick answers here. What's the average length of time it takes you to close a deal from the time you get your first lead?
Between 15 and 45 days.
15 and 45 days.
I'm on the lower end right now. I mean, there's some that I start ads and I close it within 10 days. Okay. But on average, 15, if I'm really struggling with one and I want to stick with it, so long I can go. I've had some go as long as like 45-ish, but that's like at my abandoned point where I'm like, it's a bit long. Depends on the business owners. There's a couple factors there, but usually I can close them pretty quickly. Usually I'm less than a month. That's including like the warm up period for Google. So if you've not run ads before, you know that, or you would not know that Google takes a little while to warm up. And so from when I hit click on my ads turning on to when I actually close it, that's how long it takes. And Google can be instant or it can take 2 weeks. I just got my first lead today on a site that I started ads for 2 weeks ago, for example. So
yeah. No, and again, these answers he's given are exact. So I think that's fair, because usually if I say, hey, I closed the deal in 4 days, I'm saying I closed the deal in 4 days from the time I gave that first lead to the time I closed it. So he's just telling you from the time he actually turns it on to the time he closed it. So that's a good range. How do I be honest while my website is ranking before it's renting? I don't know if you're saying, how do you be honest with the business owner? Just be honest. Say, hey, if that's what you're asking, my website is getting leads from Google, but long-term it will be getting leads organically. Right now, Google's bridging the gap. Like, you don't need to tell them anything else. Just be honest. Just be straight with them. Like, if they have a problem with it, go to the next guy, Okay. What is Ryan's ratio of properties that are organically ranked and sites still generating leads from Google ads. I'm guessing because a lot of your deals, because you went from, it took you 3 months to get your first one, and then you really ramped up the second half of the year. So I'd imagine majority of your stuff still has ads on it. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So I towards the end of the year had like 3 or 4 that were like real solid ranked. Google did an update, and like one of them had to run ads on again, but now it's back exactly where it was. And so I've got, last I checked on my monitor, I monitor all this stuff. I've got like 3 or 4 that are just real solid ranked, and then others that are somewhere in between, like they're generating organic leads. And every month I spend less on ads. So I would say that probably 30% of my sites are 100% ranked, and 70% of them are still ads.
That's awesome. And I say that's awesome because a year ago, you didn't even know how to do SEO. And so you've got 30% of your websites ranked. So that's impressive.
Yeah.
But I want to point something out. If you don't have that ad component, then in your site, gets something update, whatever, all of a sudden you're like, I got no options. You were able to just go, okay, I got to re-rank it. Maybe I had some content that was too wordy, whatever the reason was. I'm going to turn ads back on for a few weeks, few months, and then we're right back there, and I shut them off. I will tell you guys this. A lot of times on my sites, if I have a low cost per click, let's say it's $2, $3, even when I get that sucker ranked, I'll keep $150. That's about $5 a day running, because that allows me to get leads in the maps, leads in the ads, and leads organically. So it's up to you though. I also have sites I don't spend $1 on ads, but some of them I keep them on. So that's a really straight answer.
Yep.
Artem, super inspiring. I want a piece of the cake. Where do I start without having any SEO or website building? So Artem, I can send you a link to, if you want the blueprint and you want to go fast and not have to figure everything out on your own. Obviously, we have the Digital Landlords program. We don't share a ton about it because we don't want this group to turn into just a pitch fest. But that link is in the group, and I can send it to you later, or I'm sure Fix It Felix or Ashley can send it to you.
Just on that note, I tried to do this myself by just learning from the stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, the art of pre-selling, and had some success. But the next word, the blueprint. This isn't a sales pitch. It's not. It is the blueprint. Like, it really literally is do this, do this, do this, do this, and it'll take you through the sales process. And I attribute a great deal of my success to knowing things that I didn't have to make mistakes and stumble around through and lose time. And if I'm losing time, I'm losing money. And so, it works. The process works.
It's like this, dude. It's just the law of the universe. You're going to pay one way or the other. So you're either going to pay in your time and your mistakes, or you're going to pay somebody else to help you avoid those mistakes. And so, I'll be honest. I know Ryan well enough at this point. He's a very intelligent guy. No doubt in my mind, you could have gotten to this point. But I have equally no doubt that you wouldn't have gotten here as quickly because a lot of mistakes. It
would have taken a lot longer, and I would have been like, I don't know, kind of alone in it, and having a community of people around me makes a huge difference, right? So when I see people posting their wins, it hypes me up. I'm like, I'm going to go get that bag today too. And that carries you, man. So you're absolutely right. Maybe I could have, but it would have taken a much longer time horizon, and I don't want to mess around with that.
Yeah, no, you're being humble. You would have. I think you could, but I think if you stay at something long enough, I mean, keep in mind, it took me 5 years to figure this out, and it took Ryan a year. So it's like, I didn't pay for Digital Landlords, but I paid in freaking heavily in just sweat equity and trial and error. So, okay, let's do like 3 more, just quick ones real quick. This is one. Well, let's do this one. Let's do two more. And I want you to answer these last 2, and then we'll get off. And we'll try, guys. I know we got a bunch of questions. It's awesome. We might be able to do a Q&A at some point with Ryan and come back and answer these questions. Or we can also just go back in and try and comment on them. But Kurt says, Ryan, you're a lawyer. Is this business model legal?
That's a good question, man. Yeah, it's legal. All you're doing is connecting two sides of the business market. It's this American is apple pie, man. You're connecting the people that want something to the people that can provide something, and you're making that bridge, right? You're making something people want, and you're putting up a website, legal. You're advertising a website, legal. You're getting people to call you and connect those, the business owners, legal. Like from start to finish, the whole thing is, yeah, man, it's American apple pie.
And I would assume, like, if you want to, and guys, I think it's funny when, and I'm sure you laugh at this, like whenever someone hears lawyer, they assume that you're like a lawyer in business law, family and marriage. It's like, but just, I mean, here's a couple of things. If you're worried about it, use the business owner's business license, put it on your website, put something at the bottom that says I'm an affiliate or we sell these leads, whatever. If you want to cover your ass, you can do that. But this, yeah, I love that. It's as legal as American pie. And I love that. As American as legal as apple pie.
Yeah.
Okay. Last one. Let's do this. I'm currently doing my due diligence for the right city and niche. I'm seeing I'm seeing volume for some keywords, but not others. How many keywords do you recommend for going into an area that needs, so did you understand the question?
Yeah.
I just wanted to make a note though. I love that question. I can tell that Herman is actually getting in and making moves, because you wouldn't be able to ask that question unless you had gone through down the path. So I just like a little shout out to Herman for actually going and like taking some steps. But yeah, what's your answer to that? If you search SCM Rush or one of these tools and it's like concrete, Las Vegas has volume, but concrete coatings, whatever, if that's one of your keywords you're targeting, Las Vegas has none. What's your advice there? Do you go for it? How many keywords do you have to see volume with? What's your advice?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I'll make my keyword list, right? Like the training talks about, and I'll plug each of those in. I'll have a main keyword that I'm trying to target the website, like concrete contractor, right? And that's the one I really want to pop. And if that one hits, awesome. I'm not as worried about some of the others. I'm not worried about concrete steps. I'm more worried about concrete patios and driveways, because those are the ones they're going to make, that business owner pick up the phone. He's like, oh, we're talking about a driveway, right? That's a bigger job. So I'll pay more attention to the ones that look like they're going to make more money. But at the end of the day, man, if I look across those keywords and it's market dependent, there's a lot of variables here, right? But if it looks like in that market, there's enough search volume across all of them to get me enough calls in a month, I'll dive in. I'll go for it, man. Because the worst that can happen is you put up that one pager and no one calls. The best thing that can happen is you put up that one pager and you make some money.
That's what's funny is like, if there's no volume, then there's going to be no impressions and no clicks. So they're just going to cost you a little bit of time. But I'm the same. If I see volume on a main keyword and it's substantial within reason, then I'll just send it. Also keep in mind, if it's a service like concrete, like tree service, unless you are literally in a city that has no trees, which there are none, there inherently has to be some volume. There has to be some concrete volume. So with those basic boring services, which is why I love them, there is going to be volume, and it's going to exceed what you're seeing as in those tools, which are never accurate, right?
Totally. Yeah, they're never accurate. I mean, if it says 50, you could probably assume it's higher than that, right? There's always people looking for concrete, trees. If you're in the right niche, you're in the right market, you did your due diligence right, and you put it up and the phone doesn't ring, you didn't probably lose very much money, because not a lot of ads are gonna get clicks. Not much is lost, right? So I go for it. I try to send it as many places as I can if I think it looks good.
Dope. Okay, man. I think we could be here for another hour and a half if we wanted to, and I could talk about this stuff all day long, because, and I get pumped, and I think people are like, dude, this guy's either a great performer because he's bringing energy for 18 months about this topic, or he's got a screw loose and he's convinced now he's got Ryan taking the same Kool-Aid. But guys, for me, this has helped me get out of $60,000 in debt. This has helped me get into a way better spot, better part of town, better school part inside the town I live in, buy real estate, buy the car I want to buy my wife the car she wants to buy, go on vacation, put money away, doing other investments. Like, this has literally been the vehicle that has actually changed my life. And I don't mean that in like any weird or whatever, like touchy-feely way, but it's actually like taken me from I remember waking up, and when you have debt, because I'm guessing a few of you can relate to this. You wake up and it's this weight on your chest going, dude, it's the realization that I'm more broke right now than when I was born, which is so sad. I'm actually in a worse spot now than when I was born. At least I owed nobody nothing. So if I get excited, if Ryan gets excited in his own way, he probably didn't have the same situation as me, but now he's got that peace of mind to know that, hey, if I decide tomorrow I don't want to do that job anymore, even though I love it, I have that freedom to do it. So guys, this could be the vehicle, whatever you're looking to achieve. This can and should be the vehicle because it checks all of those boxes, like Ryan said. So anything else you want to add, Ryan, or should we just end it there?
No, I mean, I just add that the blueprints here, I want to see everyone winning. Everyone in this group, if you're on the fence about it, commit to it. Just go for it, right? You got nothing to lose. Go for it and don't look back. And yeah, super stoked to be here and thankful for this group. So thanks, Nick.
Sorry, I was just seeing if this was still going, but no, I love it, man. Thanks for being on, Ryan. And guys, you're going to be seeing more of Ryan. I know we have a bunch of questions. In my, looking at this, dude, pound for pound, you grew close. I think you might have grown more than just about anybody last year in this and the paid group. So I know there was a couple of the people that really crushed it too. Shout out to Jerry, shout out to Eugene, shout out to Linda.
There's some big dogs in there.
Yeah, I know, it's awesome. Isn't that cool? Like when you're around friends that are making $3 grand a month and you're like, I'm making 10 grand a month, dog. I can wear freaking whatever, Lacoste, whatever that brand is. I'm killing it. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, that guy's making 50 grand, dog. I got to step it up, So like you said,
I want to be like Jerry one day.
I love it, man. Yeah. Awesome. Well, dude, appreciate you. And everyone, we will see you next week, same exact time. And that's it. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, guys. See y'all.